request. Is that all?
Binding and non-binding, non-binding.
Binding and non-binding.
4% road course.
Did you do a printout of the budget agenda, budget hearing agenda? Hard copy? I've got an electronic copy. Six.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. All right, we'll call a meeting to order. Pick up where we left off at the last workshop. We are now under the budget hearing. And with that, we have a kind of a different order of business. We're going to start with talking about the rules of the day. And then we will be open the floor for public comment as related to the advertised budget. Next, we will move into a review of the binding budgets that the council oversees, which includes the fire districts and the solid waste. We will then go into, we're going to go through an order by the way our spreadsheet goes. Last time we kind of did a strategic order of departments based off who could be here and importance and to prioritize some of those reviews while our financial advisor was present. The next thing, but this time we'll go in the order of the spreadsheet from top to bottom. And as we go through that, at the last meeting, we captured action items that required some level of discussion by council. We have those highlighted and we will address those as we chronologically go through that spreadsheet. The idea is that we will hopefully get through this today and move to where we can adopt this budget at the October 14 meeting. The general rules of the meeting, which I did point out at the last event. So we are trying to tie this as close as we can to, to our revenue to keep our budget balanced so we don't go into deficit spending in any fund. So as we proceed through this and we have an action item, it's going to require action by council to reduce anything that has been advertised. So a motion would be required to adjust the advertisement one way or the other, keeping in mind that at the end of the day, our bottom line cannot go over our advertisement. The advertised budget is the maximum budget that can be adopted. Doesn't mean you can't increase a department, but if you do increase the department, something else is going to have to be cut. If let's see, if we the idea is that we would look probably at an overall cost of living adjustment after we get through the individual line items, and that would be probably one of the last items of business as we look at this. And the time to do that might be when we get to the end of the general fund, because that's where biggest we'll take a review there. I need to look at that when we get there. Go through some of the items in council's spreadsheet or in council's packet. This spreadsheet here is of very significant importance. This is the summary of all the revenue projections for each fund. And this is very helpful. You'll see that the estimated revenue, for instance, in general fund, and you see the columns in the middle are kind of all the different places the revenue comes from. But towards the right center of the page, the estimated revenue column would show the 2026 projected revenue. And then right next to that would be the cash on hand plus that revenue. Circuit breaker impact does not deduct from these totals. That's just showing what the projected circuit breaker impact is and the loss from the circuit breaker during the tax collection process. Does council have any questions before we start? Okay. All right, at this time, I'm gonna open the public hearing, the public portion of this. I'll have a motion from council to open public comment, please. Eric moves, Randy seconds, all in favor? Okay, so the public hearing is now open. Any members of public wishing to speak, address council pertaining to the advertised budgets for 2026? Second call. Yes, sir.
Sarah, where is this located? Can I have a copy of that budget?
Of the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, you can have a copy. I don't know that we have a copy immediately available. It's public record, but it's going to be changed throughout the day as we go, so.
Thank you.
The rest is that.
Any other comments? All right, last call. Okay, as we will then take a motion to close the public comment period. Have a motion from Greg to close and a second by Harding to close. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay, we'll now move on to the review of binding budgets, begin with Jefferson Marion Fire District. Do we do that before or after? Okay, as you said, I think Greg has a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that as we review and discuss the binding budgets and non-binding budgets that we request that they stay within their growth quotient.
This year's,
Which is 4% this year.
okay, that motion, chair finds that motion to be certainly appropriate. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded for the request for all binding and non-binding to stay within the 4% growth quotient. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. All right. So, go ahead,
Okay,
Robin, do you have anything you want to call out?
not unless you have questions on certain things. Our trustees did eliminate their per diem, which I went ahead and absorbed into the fire district because we're raising the fire district support due to the fact that we've got a new event center in High Banks. We also have the Boy Scout Reserve. It's got a lot of wooded area. There's a lot more campers and stuff coming. We also have new houses coming into the area. That's why that was increased. Our insurance, I raised $100. Not sure exactly what it's going to go, but I just based off of this last year. Our computer increase is due to the upgrade and the internet service. And our training was raised in case they need training. Everything else pretty much stayed the same.
Any questions for Robin? We move on each one of these, Greg, on the bindings. Is there a motion to, accept, or approve the, or do we do that at the? Do we do that at the, adoption? We don't, because that's independent of adoption. Yeah, okay. Is there a motion to, accept, approve Jefferson Marion District's president? Motion. Okay, have a motion by Randy. Is there a second? Motion made, seconded by Jeff. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Were you, Travis, did you vote or you abstained? Okay, you're good. All in favor, or that motion passes 7. Thank you, Robin. All right, next we move on to Patoka Township Fire. And she's up. Anything you want to highlight, Angie?
We are right at that 4%, maybe $50 over that 4% that we're asking for, but when I spoke with Robert, he said we're still within our app or whatever that we have available, so, you know, so it's $7,500 extra is what we're asking for. And that's gonna go to supplies, fiscal officer and insurance. And then also we're gonna move $1,000 from our communication and travel over to insurance as well to help cover some of that, with the new truck and everything. We just wanna make sure we have enough.
Just to be, if we're $50 over, just to be safe, is there a place we can,
Oh, yeah, I mean.
we can mark that
Yes,
reduction?
yeah, I mean, if you guys wanna shorten it. Like I don't have, it's like maybe $52 or something, I probably got it right here.
Let's
Thank
just do,
you.
let's just do a $55 reduction at some,
186,930 is what we had, I think, last year, and 194,430 is this year. So. Whatever, I didn't punch it all in, so.
we'll just round up, let's just
Is
do.
the fiscal officer contract being more than double?
At the fiscal officer contract, they have agreed to, increase that to.
Well, 4,900 to 10,000 on my paperwork.
Yes. Yeah, so they're increasing that pay to 10,000 a year.
Don't mean to speak for the board. I think, doesn't a lot of that have to do with Ed's retirement and, you know, just
It's,
the fact that it's gonna be a lot more responsibility on.
it is a lot more responsibility, and, you know, I kind of told them that if they want to keep me doing it, I mean, it's gotta be worth my time, you know, and it's a lot of work, and every year the state just keeps adding more and more to it, and they looked at the budget and they agreed that, you know, because they haven't given a raise for, I think, was it Barbara that was doing this before? I mean, I think they, you know, really touched on giving a raise for several years, so.
You've not had one since you've been,
Do what?
you've not had a raise in that since you.
I think when I first started, they might have gave like maybe a $500 or $1,000, but I don't remember exactly what it was, because it's been a few years, but yes. Yes, Ed is going to retire, I think, end of the year, so it is, you know, he helped carry a lot of the load.
We just approved another fire district and their fiscal officer's contract for next year's 3,300. What a difference.
Anything else? Nope. What's the consensus of council?
How responsibilities be different than that other department, graduation, something like that, what would be total, but their population, Jefferson's. And
Yeah, let's not miss this. I missed this.
try to compare it.
You're in contract. Are you an employee of the district or are you 1099?
I, through the district, when we got audited last year, Ed had talked to the auditors about this. They did say that, if we do increase that pay, that I will have to do like, the payroll, the taxes, take it all out and have to pay
Are
quarterly,
you a W-2 employee or a 1099?
1099. But it would be a W-2 starting next year, I
You would
believe
go-
is what the state had told us, so. Where we have to take out payroll taxes.
Sounds like the way you were an employee.
Yeah.
I just think we have a responsibility to try to keep some of these five districts somewhat equal there. My thought.
And I have no idea what the other districts, payroll is or anything like that. That's just something that the board had discussed at one of their meetings and, I did ask for a raise and that's what they came up with. Actually, they wanted to give me more, but I didn't, I felt like that would be too much.
Well, there's probably an equity in the, like what Chiefs did and all that too, when you get down to it. We're not discussing, we need to move on. What's your? We can approve, we can table and bring this back up. What's your? What's your thoughts?
Well, if we table it till next time. More information, we kind of prepare the. I'll make a motion.
Talk to the boards.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we table it till next time. I'm not against it, but it should be fair to everybody.
A motion's been made to table.
Is it because of the salary? Is that why we're tabling
I
it?
believe so.
Just disparity,
Do what?
just the disparity.
Just want, I think just want to be fair to everybody.
Yeah.
I get that. Like I said, this is what they came up with at their meeting, so.
Yeah, no, I get it, and they're not here and you're here.
Yeah.
It's almost
And I
fair
can
to
make
ask.
sure, if you want them here, I can bring,
I think that's gonna be necessary, but hopefully we can talk. So right now, it's still the,
he is
Sure.
till the end of the year.
Hourly wage is nominal, but hers is less.
All right. Have a motion to table. Is there a second to the motion? Second. Randy seconds. Okay. All right, motion is made and seconded to table. Is there, what's the, call the vote on the table motion? All in favor? So.
So I'll need to come back to the next with the board or with somebody from. the
Yeah,
board.
and we'll be talking between now and then.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, thank you.
All right, next is solid waste district.
I think we'll get today, so I'll sit in. If there's any questions,
Again, solid waste is not tax supported. It's funded by tipping fees.
and she's basically requesting, a wage increase of things, the county was 20% for myself, Donnie and Bob that worked for us, and then, 1,000 increase for the insurance due to the price increases on our main insurance for the vehicles and everything, and then, I know Christie and everybody's been in the works for site workers, we're trying to go up 18% on them because they are not really paid a whole lot, and actually, we were having trouble keeping employees and going up it just is, so that's basically what our increase is for.
And if council would approve a lower than 3% raise, you would adjust yours for whatever
Yes.
the county's approving.
Right, we just always follow the county on for that, yeah.
Is there any questions for Cindy? Okay, is there a motion to approve the solid waste district, budget pending the final wage adjustment? Motion from Max, is there a second? Seconded by Eric, all
Thank
in
you.
favor? Aye. Okay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, we are now ready to move into the governance or the general fund budget. This will be following the spreadsheet. Just to point out, as the general fund currently stands, what we start in on that, published budget is $9,344,172. And our estimated revenue on general fund as it stands is $9,503,311. So we are meeting revenue at this point. And that's published with that 3% number. But let's go through, we're gonna go through these department by department as we scroll down. Beginning with county clerk in location 1. I had no noted changes on county clerk. Other than we had a discussion, I think that was an election, right?
Yes.
Right, so we'll get to that in election. There's a one piece there. I think it might notes in order here. Another paper I wanna. Anyone have any comments on clerk? This is the one I was thinking. Okay, by consensus, county clerk will stand as published unless there's last time. Okay, moving to county auditor. You had highlighted the postage line. I don't think that was the line we were highlighting, was it?
Yes, we reduced that.
Okay, but that's not a,
No, it was a change in it's a change from what was originally requested. Originally requested was the $2,000 and we reduced
we
it,
deducted it.
right, because of Misty looked long and hard at postage and the amounts that we're having to mail out. It felt that we could do that this year.
You did have though, office equipment request.
Correct.
That was in general.
For conference.
Yeah,
table chair.
that needs action. So all capital needs approval. So under office equipment, there was a appropriation request of $1,161 for conference chairs for Judy's conference table. Having said at Judy's conference table, I find this expenditure to be totally. Is there a motion to approve capital request at 1,161? Okay, Jeff moves. Is there a second? Max seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries 7-0. And next we go to county treasurer. Yes, I had no notes on county treasurer. Any comments by council on county treasurer? The current amount pending wage adjustment is 161,781. This will be a last call on county treasurer. If not, it will stand as presented. We will move to county recorder. Any comment on county recorder? As presented. Total is 90,600. The last call on county recorder. We will move to county sheriff. As presented, we have a request for one new vehicle in the general fund. We have another vehicle that's in public safety. And then the vehicle is in line.
4601, I think.
We have your list of vehicles, Jason.
I'm sorry?
We have your list of vehicle inventories.
Yes.
What vehicles were you intending to replace?
It was a replacement of one, and then you were adding, one of them moved to a second pool car, right?
Yeah, it should be on it. There are 2017 at the bottom. They're trading.
Okay, the 2017 Dodge Charger,
Yes.
got 162,000 miles on it. It's gonna be gotten rid of.
Which one moves to
Yeah,
the
it shows trade-in,
And then the-
2017 Dodge Chargers to trade-in.
2020 moves to the pool?
2020 Durango Pursuit.
Okay.
2020 what, Durango?
Durango.
All right.
So how many pool cars will you have? Three? Two?
Yes.
The 2019 and the 2020? Okay.
This is all vehicles. There's not like a jail sheet that's separate. You don't have another,
That's all.
this is all vehicles. Yeah, there's none on a separate.
The only other
jail
one that's
account.
there, that Malibu's, there's four vehicles ours.
Yeah.
There.
But it's on the sheet.
Yeah.
That's like, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay, is there a motion on the vehicle purchase? Travis moves approval for the vehicle purchase. Is there a second? Second by Max. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Guys, I'm sorry, are any other questions for Sheriff on general fund? That brings the total at the bottom, currently pending salaries to 834, 850. Okay, the chair's gonna go backwards on you, sorry. The county clerk thing, Judy, is in general fund. Let's go back up,
What do you?
let's go back up to the top. The clerk had requested a part-time employment in case he had an unforecasted
Yes, he did.
staffing change, and I was thinking that was an election. It's not, it's in general.
Yes.
That needs to be called out. This was if you remember, he had looked at the what if scenario last year where he had an employee that was that had left mid-year. And he wanted to, or announce their exit. And then he wanted to bring in someone to early to train for a week or two with that person there. I understand what he was trying to do. But I also didn't think that on these sheets. Yes, it's on there. It's item 14.
Oh, there, okay,
Yeah, it's item 14 on the action item sheet. But in the previous budget, it was right at $1,000 was what his part-time dollars were at. I remember making the comment when we were talking with Alan that I thought this would be a very unlikely scenario and even be able to spend those numbers. And I thought it was a place that we might cut. Of course, you could leave it and just try to remember that if he tries to transfer it out of there. And the land is just walking in, maybe she has some comment. I know Alan wasn't able to be here today. We were talking about. He had requested an increase in part-time clerical. Just for a what if scenario in case someone left again and he had to train someone early or get some co-training time with. And we were commenting on the unlikelihood of that. Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, you're fine.
Uh,
I was surprised I wasn't asked that when you first went through
now we circle back, we've got it.
it. Okay. Honestly, it's always nice to have an extra person during election years. You know, we'll have one next year. Did he happen to say, cause I don't have it in my notes anymore, he's only asking for 2,000.
this
So,
is just in the general fund. This wasn't
right,
for election workers. Yeah.
right. So is he asking the part-time clerical on the election fund too? So I'm thinking for 2,000,
It was training, so he had money to train if he needed.
That's if somebody said, I'm gonna leave next month. So he had an.
Like what you
opportunity
had
to hire-
happen this last year.
okay,
Hire and that person trained their replacement for a couple of weeks.
okay. So I'm thinking 2,000 isn't gonna,
Pay them part-time help while they're being trained.
okay. I didn't know how many hours he was thinking of maybe doing the $2,000 was gonna carry through, because if he's intending to hire someone part-time and only use them just part-time to help out in the office, like during election period when we're just slammed, and have a hard time keeping up with things. That person's not gonna be there very long. I mean, I would think by the time they get them trained in, we're gonna be out of $2,000, not be able to pay them anymore. So,
He did not mention it in that context. It was only mentioned as if the scenario you had this year,
okay,
where you had someone with an announced leave
Mhm.
and trying to hire someone to come in and start them early before they just joined his full time.
well, that, the 2,000 makes sense then. So, okay, maybe he's not intending on bringing anybody next year,
Do we do that?
part-time for them.
We don't do that in any other office, do we?
Well, that's it, you do it every other office.
Right.
Yeah,
Can.
Yeah, that was my thought. I see where he's going with this.
yeah,
And I understand it, but yeah, other offices could be the same.
every office could be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great to bring someone in
Yeah.
and train them
Okay.
with the person they're gonna be replacing before that person leaves, but you don't always get that opportunity to do that.
Especially about, 2 weeks notice, it takes you
Yeah.
2 weeks to hire somebody at
Mhm.
least.
Right,
Haven't, but yeah.
yeah, and a lot of times sometimes you're fortunate.
I understand it,
No.
but my recommendation was that we take this back to 1,000 and, hopefully we'll always support somebody if they have a legitimate request at the time.
Right, mhm,
Penny pension, I realize, but
Right.
but it all adds up.
Well, we treat all offices the same.
as you should.
Each
So
circumstance.
it's not a guarantee, it's just it's kind of just a policy thing here. So,
Right, all right, no, I get it, I didn't
sorry to
know.
put you on the spot.
No, that's fine, I hadn't seen the 2,000 until he gave this to me yesterday, so
Yeah.
I wasn't for sure the thinking behind it, so.
Chair would suggest a reduction to 1,000.
Was it 1,000 last
It was
year?
966. I do. Motion from Travis to reduce to 1,000. Is there a second?
Second.
Max seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
That was the only thing, Lena, thank you.
Okay,
All right, that brings the new total on clerk. The 178,723.
What was that?
178,723. I think we're ready for county surveyor on general fund. Any notes or comments on surveyor? We have notes in surveyor perpetuation, but not in surveyor general.
Perpetuation and seated, it's the only places I see. General fund, I don't think that's any changes.
This will be a last call on surveyor. And we are ready to move to county coroner, where we do have some discussion. Got a couple items under coroner that were on our action list. Coroner salary raised at council's suggestion or my suggestion to, as he was the lowest paid elected official in the county, to put him to the second lowest, equivalent with the second lowest paid council or county elected position, which would be county council.
Make you feel better.
It does though.
And he also had a request for the deputy increase with one additional and an increase for their rate. As I have pointed out, I don't know that you can always look at it as when you're dealing with that low pay on a part-time on-call position. I don't really think that the cost of living adjustment is the way to look at it. This is a structural change so he can get good people to take those calls and go through all the training that's required, which is probably even more of a commitment than the calls.
To a point, yes.
Depending on the call. So the 8450 would, and then if we take action on these, we would need the, at the end, when we would do, the cost of living, we would need to either true this up or clarify, because the 8450 amount assumes the 3%, a 3%.
You're in the wrong column, it's 86.
86, I'm sorry, the 8650 assumes the 3%, assumes the 3%.
3% has been
Yeah.
calculated.
Okay, so if we didn't do 3%, we couldn't have him making 8650, because he'd be making $100 more. We could.
That should be like the business incentive.
What's that?
The 8650 includes his incentive.
That also includes his incentive. Thank you. That's a good point. All right. I think we've discussed it. Is there a motion from council to, on the corner pay line item to adjust, I'm gonna say to a base rate equivalent of council? Travis moves.
Second.
Okay. Jeff seconds. Any further discussion? Yeah. All in favor? Aye. Vote. Motion carries. Deputy goes from 1,900 to 3,300. Is there any incentive on, there's no incentive there, so that's the base rate.
So that's for more than one.
For Dave.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the chief deputy line item. So the deputy is, it goes from 1,900 to 3,300. Is there a motion for the deputy line item?
What were they being taken to?
The base rate on the salary?
Yeah.
Well, there's three, right?
Yes, 3.
But there were two,
So
if you look at that.
it's going to 1,100 per person. And before we were at 950 per person times 2, we're going to 1,100 per person times 3. Is there a motion? Motion by Max, is there a second? Second by Travis. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Any motion carries. And then chief deputy goes from 2,700 to 3,100. Again, there's no incentive on that because it's not an elected official or a full-time position. Who is your chief?
Brian Maxwell.
Brian is your chief. Is there a motion for the restructure on the chief deputy position? Travis moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Jeff seconds. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. I think that's it as far as action items. That would 46,730 is the total at the bottom of general fund county corner. Anything else for Nick? Okay, we will move on. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, guys.
County assessor is next. 96,750 is the total. I don't have any notes here. We did not talk about that. Yeah, you're right. Now let's get it at the end, since I don't wanna go back again.
Yeah.
All right,
Just saw it.
yeah, next, we're going to, prosecutor on, general fund.
So assessor rate, as is,
Yeah, I'm sorry, last call on assessor. And we move to prosecutor. Prosecutor in general, so one thing to note. Um, as you know, the state sets the salary for the prosecutor and for the chief deputy prosecutor. Those are set by state statute, and we must follow along with those guidelines. Those guidelines also are what help set sheriff and other and probation salaries as well. We have one other deputy prosecutor that is in the general fund line item. That's Logan's position. The current salary on that is 87.5. So the question comes as to whether or not that prosecutor's salary should be tied to county raises, or whether that prosecutor's salary should be tied to state raises, the other attorney raises. Some of the offline discussion, but as you know, the chief deputy and the one set by state is a much higher salary. And it is also, when we do get raises, they are mandated by the state. It's usually more than what our county adjustments are. But some of the offline discussion and talking to Darren over this last week, kind of felt that we're better off long-term, even though this year there's no raises with the state set salaries. That the county's gonna be better off long-term to tie this to the county rate. And I think as Randy pointed out to me, Logan is technically a county employee, so. I don't know that this requires action because it's in the budget and it is simply a county employee, but I did want to point that piece out.
you should probably also point out that we don't pay. The county does not pay the prosecutor, nor the
Chief
chief
deputy,
deputy prosecutor, that's paid by state.
right,
But we pay them a supplement as it's listed on here.
those supplements are usually tied to the county. The supplement changes based on the county overall cost of living,
Well, Darren didn't raise those, period.
they just are
I
standard.
mean, he had the time, but his request this year did not increase those rates for the chief deputy prosecutor. Basically, I think some time ago, before me, was decided that it would be like for insurance costs and so forth that they would pay. I think for it initiated.
Well, I think as it stands, you don't need to make a motion because it's a county employee with a county salary, subject to whatever we do for final cost of living. You would need a motion to exempt him from that.
You're talking, well,
I'm talking on Logan.
yeah, I'm talking about their supplemental and Sarah's supplemental.
Oh, good point.
But if they're in there at zero, not 3%.
0%. Yeah, we should take a motion on that. So I would entertain a motion to accept the prosecutor's recommendation for no supplemental increase in, items 10-111 or 10-136.
Make that motion.
Okay, Greg moves,
Second.
seconded by Max. All in favor? Aye. And if no other comments on the county paid deputy, it would stand without action.
You would get a fair.
Yeah. As of right now, the bottom line total is 158, 150, 158, 150. Any other comments on prosecutor? Be the last call. We would move on to County Cooperative Extension Service, which is, well, who's here? Don't know that we have. Any action items listed, so. We sometimes have some debate over the level of fair support, but that was kept as level request. So, Brooke, did you have anything you wanted to mention? Any questions for Brooke, or is there any other conversation on cooperative extension? Right now, the total is 149,000 even. This will be the last call for cooperative extension. Okay, thank you, Brooke.
Thank you.
Veteran service, the total is 26,750. Double check, have no action items on veteran service. Last call on veteran service. Okay, next is county council. In county council, we have, the only real change is our, the contracted services to include, the future use from FSG for next year. We don't have that contract yet.
Maybe changing those references.
Yeah. For total right now is 104, 100.
What do you know?
We already did, yeah, I guess we deducted the instruction in school because we were gonna use that other account, that other fund for training, elected officials training. Is there any, so this will be last call on council? Next is Peter Boa, which is simply the per diem. Last call there. And we'll move to county commissioners, where we do have some items. Okay. Just for notes, we have moved all property and casualty insurers and workers' comp to the commissioner's budget. Which was handled by consensus during the workshop, does not need action today. We had a note too on soil and water, that remains unchanged. And then the next item, number 3, was the general fund for commissioners. For this structural pay adjustment for the solid waste trash site attendants. Taking them from $11.33 an hour to $14 an hour. 50% of that wage to be reimbursed by solid waste district, as Cinda pointed out in their budget. Request to eliminate the Saturday premium. The senior site attendant would be paid $1 more than the standard site attendants, which would be $15 an hour. And if approved, I believe this request would be exempt from any cost of living adjustment, and this would be the rate we would be taking them to.
Yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah. This is, which line item is that in, Judy? That's in.
For the side attendants, they've got their own, but
Yeah, it's actually
You're-
solid
Oh,
waste.
it's not under commissioners,
yeah,
I'm
it's under
sorry.
0506.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
Further.
We'll come down.
It is in general, but you're not there yet.
Okay, I think the rest of the commissioner stuff that requires action isn't seated. There's no real capital in here. Christie, am I not thinking of anything?
I don't have anything noted for the commissioner's budget. Besides the insurance was the only thing that I had.
And actually, it was,
When you became overtime eligible, have you used any of your
A
overtime?
little bit, but not very much. I try to not.
So the commissioner's total is $3,814,385.
you need to make the 85 and the what.
Yeah, if you recall, I emailed a requested change for the insurances,
After the work
just to
site.
make sure to cover myself. When I looked back at work comp, I based my numbers off their premium for this year, but their premium for this year was really low compared to previous years. And I'm afraid what will happen for work comp is based off our
Yes.
payroll. And so in the fall, we get an audit for the previous year, and if we're way ahead, way over, then we have to go back and pay that, and it's been 14,000 on some years. And I'm kind of worried that's what's gonna happen this year, because I can't see why our premium would have went, our wages haven't went down. So it would only be like if overtime had went down. And I just don't, I mean, I don't see everybody's wages, but I don't see that happening to that extreme. Like it was like $15,000 less.
But the part of why on that was that they had previously included prosecutors' pay.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know, and
that may be,
didn't
So
remember that they weren't accounting.
yeah, and we may be okay, but that number made me nervous after going back and looking at previous years and thinking about it.
You're right, so I forgot about that, you talked to Judy and I, the 3 of us talked.
And we went ahead and advertised.
We went ahead
mine.
and advertised this, so this was advertised at $20,000 more than we had in the consensus at the.
Yes, so we
At the
went, I
last
took,
workshop. So I said we could
It's fine,
easily
it's
cut it, but we couldn't add to it.
right, so, the commercial I took up to 400,000. And the work comp I took up to 85. Or sorry, 425 for
425.
commercial, yeah. And 85 for the work comp.
And the big shift on the insurance is all of these little line items from all the other funds have
Yeah.
went into this fund. And that's why it went from 120 to 400,
Yeah.
but we cut it out of all the other individual departments
In general.
in general.
And those are ones that, I mean, I'm gonna pay what the premium is, so.
Right.
And I am I mean, like I said, we're hoping to do a quote from a different company, this year for commercial, so. Fingers crossed that we could keep that from going up too much, but I can't guarantee that.
So again, the published total at the end does account for this currently, this having this 85 in workers' comp line item. At 10,750. So since we had that discussion, do you still feel that's the appropriate number to be there?
I do. When you look back last year, when I requested this the first time, I was requesting 84 on the work comp. Based off a premium and then adding just a little bit, for raises, so. To go down that much, it seems
that is-
bizarre unless that, and that may be the case, and the next year I may not have to. We may be able to lower it, but I would like to just get 1 year's audit. Doing it this way under my belt and seeing before I reduce that number,
You're just trying to save us from an additional.
trying.
And so that wasn't advertised.
No, it was advertised, but it was kind of this aha moment after we completed
Yeah.
the budget workshop.
Yeah,
So because it wasn't in the consensus budget moving, we probably do need to have a motion to show this line at Christie's request of 85 instead of 65. What's that?
In the commercial.
Yeah, the commercial as well. She took from 400 to 425 with that same.
part of that, the commercial one really, that is with an increase, the 400 is, but after listening to Greg talk about. Not wanting to do the additionals, I did not you, Greg, the other Greg, but, I just feel like the cover maybe more of an increase.
My fear on that is, that's great, but my only fear is that I just don't wanna get in the mentality of doing that in every fund and then coming back and raiding the pantry.
Yeah.
Just to take transfers out at the end of the year. And that's gotta be on us to kind of
Right,
police that, and you as well, but.
yeah,
Not this one.
yeah.
Right. You
I
don't-
I have a feeling you're not gonna, I mean, so our premium was 373, 730. 400,000, I don't know what percentage that is off the top of my head, I don't have it, but it is not a much of an increase, 7% maybe, 6.
It was 400.
Yeah, so 373,730 divided by 400,000.
$373.
730,
The lower 7%.
our insurance went up 22% this year. So I don't see that you're gonna have a lot of, even if you take it to the 425, I don't think it's gonna end up being a slush fund, because I think you're gonna. Now, I hope it doesn't, we've done 7% increases in insurance before, but last year was 22, so. I mean, it's a guess every year, I don't know,
22%, it'd be 455.
so I'll still be
And
in.
we're gonna be short.
I mean, it's a guess every,
Alright. In the interest of time,
I'll make a motion to, adjust those two lines to 425 and 85.
okay. Have a motion by Greg to adjust them upward. Again, it's not an upward over the advertisement, because the advertisement didn't include this, it just was not discussed at the previous budget workshop. Is there a second to Greg's motion?
Second.
Travis second, or was that Randy? Randy. Okay, all in favor of the change? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. So the balance I mentioned earlier still remains unchanged. 3,814,385. Yes, I agree. All right. We go to next into, Station 105. Which is commissioners also, right? No,
No, that's that indirect cost that we get from the audit Maximus,
Don't we? Earn credit. Yeah,
it's earned.
That's
Earned
really got
indirect
software.
credit,
we've got. Yeah, Maximus and SBS
right,
and. Yeah. We comment on. It just doesn't have a title on it.
no, it needs a different title, but that was a part of what came from Lao, we didn't figure out where that came from.
And you you're kind of point of contact on that fund. All right, so now we go to courthouse. Yeah, I don't. Total amount currently is 232,990.
The thing that was significant on that was that they picked up the cost of the new health center. And the utilities and,
In the commissioner's budget.
yeah, we didn't talk
Yeah.
about it. But I was thinking it was in this budget, but I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
in the
up in the-
commissioners, but yes, we could.
And we really don't have any, none of the pending courthouse work is in here.
Yeah.
Anything else on
Nothing's-
courthouse? Last call. We'll go circuit court then. Christie. Sure, you'll be back. Yeah, and that was all presented. Any comments on circuit court? I'm not. Oh, okay. Yeah, we had the bump in the pauper attorney. That had to do more or less with the interpreter service.
Right.
So totals 504,150. I didn't have any action items. Next, then we'll move on to probation. Total 189,742. Last year, of course, we had a much lower budget because we had a issue with Chris's salary, and then, but that was taken care of mid-year. And also what funds are you paying out of those? No comments on probation? We would move to EMA. Total as published 104,830.
So we need to talk about, it. We got the unexpected increase in revenue. For 50, up to, what was it,
23,500.
from 18. We got that news just before the meeting, for budget workshop.
On
But-
emergency management?
Yeah, for the reimbursement. of
Oh,
my
your
salary.
salary, yeah.
That's in a different fund, it has, the revenue is kept in a different fund, it can't be.
Yeah, this is general fund, but the state did up the reimbursement that we get for your salary.
Correct.
We were notified of that after we started the budget process.
Yeah,
But we checked in, we checked in on that, right,
Mhm.
up to 50%, so
Yeah,
it's
we'll,
okay.
we'll get that point refunded.
Okay, we do have an action item with the general fund on the allocation, the 30,000 for the improvements for the offsite dispatch center at the Winslow building. Any questions for Kyler on that? If you can get that done for that, I think you've done well. I don't see anything but that. Is there any discussion or motion on the request? That's equipment, so that would be under a capital category. Is there we would need action to approve that 30,000? Okay, is there a motion or discussion? Need one or the other, or we have to move on? If we need, I would actually need a motion either way to remove it or to include it. Because it has been published.
To approve, you need to have backup in dispatch center, something specific, pop ons.
I agree with you. Motion's made. Is there a second?
Second.
Max seconds. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 6-1,
Who's the name?
great.
Great.
All right. We will. That the total stays at 104,830. Anything else with EMA? We'll move on to emergency management. 911, this one we do have a little discussion. So after the last meeting, we discovered there was an error in the spreadsheet as far as the way it calculated was it in the employee report or was it in this spreadsheet? It was in the 144. So this was, and I remember we commented on it during the meeting that it was reduced. But the number was reduced way too much. The 3% should have been, the 3% total should have been 370,400. And it was published at 324,900. So. Judy, do you want to, does anyone want to comment further on that?
Well, at this point in time, unless there is enough reductions in other points in the general fund budget, it would have to stay at this amount. And the only cure would be an additional appropriation in 26. we sincerely don't know when or how. When we checked the formulas, a line was let out for some reason on the 144.
So. Yeah, but right now we've only cut $1,000.
So, like I said, the cure would have to be a additional, and that wouldn't have to come immediately in the new.
No, not at all. So let's let this stand for now, and then we'll take one last glance back at it when we get to the bottom of the general fund. In case we have any significant reductions, but what is the, but you would need a net of, what's the difference there?
45.5.
Yeah,
Essentially one employee.
yeah, that's what it was.
Exactly.
Anything else for
Did we leave that furniture and equipment?
furniture and equipment? No, yeah, we did leave it in. So you had a $2,000 request on equipment,
Right,
and is that for, that's for the dispatch?
correct.
I remember you making some comments about just what you had to spend last time when you had a,
Whether it be refrigerator
Yeah.
or also, the office chairs.
and you go through those.
So they have, there's actually a contract, set by my predecessors, yearly on those chairs. I believe it's 1,500, something like that, so. And I think, and that came out of other funds, but so that's more appropriate fund you and I spoke with about that.
And you think about those chairs, there is always someone sitting in those chairs. Always. All right. Okay, so I need a motion to approve the furniture and equipment line item.
Motion.
Eric moves, Jeff seconds, all in favor? Aye. 7-0. Okay. All right, I think if nothing else for 911, we'll go to jail.
Do you want to press go?
Ironically, I don't see any. You had the proof, we had a $750 line item in furniture and equipment and in equipment. Was that for anything specific, folks?
I know in furniture, okay, but I mean, we had chair expense every,
Cool.
that's usually what that ends up being.
Because last year we had zeros in there, that's why I was asking.
We got some pretty ones that I got maybe just last year.
I don't think it's unreasonable though to have it in. The bottom line is 1,551,305. Which is actually a little bit less than last year's request. I think the insurance, but that was where the insurance came out. Most of that's eaten up with the adjustments on the pay. All right, is there a motion on their equipment and furniture? Motion to approve by Greg, is there a second?
Again.
By Eric, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Landfill. No changes, 16,810 is the total. And from there, we would move to solid waste, which is, we had the previous discussion about site attendance. Is there a motion for the site attendant adjustments that have been requested?
Motion.
Okay, so Max moves on all of those items.
Yes.
Okay. Second. And seconded by Jeff. Just to recap here, make sure we got it in minutes appropriately. That's commissioners take site attendance from 11:33 to 14. Senior site attendant to 15. Elimination of the Saturday premium. And exempt, Max, your motion also exempts him from any other cost of living adjustment. Yes.
Solid waste reimburses half of that.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the raise is only half to us.
Correct. But it all flows through us because.
Right.
Motion's made, and I think I had a second, didn't I? Was that Jeff seconded? Good. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Again, the total at the bottom of that area is, the bottom of that section is 194, 215. $40. And we've got some action here. Again, just a reminder, the 40 deputy prosecutor is tied to the county. There's not an exemption on that, like, or there's not a state set rate for the 40. The good news is, of course, that we do get a lot of income there. So his raise is tied at the, to whatever a county cost of living adjustment is. And then, there was a request by Darren on the administrator's position for a structural raise outside of the 3% recommendation. And he had suggested a raise at a 6% level for that position. Would point out that the office manager does receive more, and his was kind of an equity argument between the duties of the two people in the office and the fact that one of those had more seniority. So it put the longer tenured employee making more than essentially the person that was more or less in the supervisory role. However, on their base rate, however, the supervisory role person does make $3,250 more per year in a payment from the pretrial fund. I had a conversation with Darren about this, told him I was very concerned about the structure here, because everything in the courthouse has been done kind of with equity in mind between the offices. I know there's probably differences in job duties between what one person does and another, but we also have that between office to office. And they have that same level of equity at the deputy pay. So it might be something that requires more discussion in the future as far as some level of, like chief deputy position. I think currently the auditor is the only position in the county that has a chief deputy. But after I talked to him, I told him I don't know that I supported this structural change. I'll just throw that out there.
Kind of set a precedent, you can't, down the road.
Do we know what the number would be if that's left at without his? Well, you take the last year's throw at 30. Or 40,050, right, at times 1.03. No, because we had a change in people, that's part of the problem.
It looks like there's the same there because of incentive.
Right.
That's the thing to keep in mind, it's not because
Right, no, I'm with you.
I don't even remember how many years difference, but there is one.
Looks like it should be, 38,800 after you round.
38,800 would be the administrator
Just based,
total base rate without incentive.
no, that would be with if the 3% and the incentive.
And the incentive. But then that person would still get, as I pointed out, their office manager stipend that they get from the other fund.
Yes.
And that's where, to me, the difference is. You said 38,800. Did anyone like that? Move. Or what?
What's your issue over? Years of service, what we saying?
Now, what he had pointed out to us when he met with us was that because of, you have two employees, you have Summer and Jennifer. Jennifer is a very long tenured county employee that moved into that office. And with her rate, she, essentially the subordinate in the office would be making less, or would be making more than what Summer supervisor's base rate would be. But Summer is paid as office manager and she actually makes, even after all of that nets out, because of the stipend from the other fund, she does make $3,250 more a year than Jennifer. So he was just looking to accelerate what's a deputy position, 40 deputy, both of them have the same classification. He was looking to bring them up to where they both make the same amount of money. But we have that, my point was we have that in many other offices where you have a long tenured employee that, moves in and they make more money than because they switched offices or something, which is what happened here. So that's why I think it's a slippery slope too. Now, if we want to have a discussion about a reclassification of the position, to be a chief deputy position where it would have a different rate. But I think that opens up a can of worms with all the different offices of having the chief deputy order, the chief deputy treasurer, yeah, and we yeah, that's the way it used to be.
But the bottom line is, she is making more.
That's what I want.
She is making more, because she gets the money from another fund added to hers.
I'm not gonna supervise you, you make more than me.
Okay. Yeah. So, but the 3250 was net, right? That's Judy, you ran that total, the 3250 difference.
The 3,250 gets see, that's Fund 25. Oh, one.
That was this year. She made
Yeah.
3250 more this year. Even with their pay differential on the incentive. That's the purpose of incentive, right? The purpose of incentive is to
It was 32.5 and with a 3% increase for next year, it would be 33.50. So it would be more if we go with it, it's got a 3% increase, that stipend gets it.
Okay, so the 3250 is the amount of stipend,
Now,
because that's not a net difference in pay. It's
yeah, it's in the other fund.
no, I know, but 39,550 minus 38,8. I think she's still around 2,600 more.
Yeah, I'm exactly 2,600 more.
Yeah, that's the net difference. So she still paid 2,600 more going into next year. The 3,250 is the amount of the stipend. Then you'd have to deduct the differential out. My recommendation is that we take the administrator's line item to 38,800. If there's a motion. That was Max?
Yeah.
Is there a second to the motion? Second. I got, I saw Randy, we'll take Randy.
38,800,
That was the number.
number obligated fund. 38,800.
So, and that's subject, that 38,800 includes the 3%. So Max, your motion needs to be subject to the final cost of living.
Yes.
Adjustment. Okay. And second's good with that, Randy? Okay, all in favor of the motion? Aye. Motion carried. That takes the bottom line to 134,950. Do you agree, Audra? You got off somehow. That's. Go up from there. Yeah, it's 660. Oh, that is the last thing in general fund. Yeah, it is. Okay. So. The advertised amount for general was. 9,344,172. We are at 9,342,022. The after adjustments, we're at $9,342,022.
9,342,022.
I don't think there's any way we can help Tyler now. Three. Oh.
What was the total one? 40.
40 total is 134,950. Even though we have the revenue to support it, Kyler, we don't have the advertisement to support it. Keep going. Okay. Are you okay if we keep? Yeah. All right. Moving to 11, Fund 1101, which is that's an accident report fund. Only place to use those dollars. Got this publication link around 2,500. And nothing to note there, really. I think we can move to seated. Which we do have some discussion items under seats. Oh. Let's go back. Sorry. Greg pointed out to me earlier, one thing we did not take action on. And I don't know if it requires action, but I just didn't want, I wanted to note it. When we talked about Judy's budget under auditor. The auditor had requested the ability to increase. Her salary appropriation, allowing employees up to work over 40 hours with supervisory approval. And we did have extra dollars in her. Line item, in her pay, in her general payroll line item. To allow for that. I think we've approved it by consensus. We talked about her being the one that approves that. I don't know if it requires any action. But I wanted to point that out because we. As long as the salary ordinance supports it and the, her authorization supports it and the, doesn't get us in trouble with any kind of payroll or insurance issues. But that was a change in the salary appropriation. But it didn't change anyone's rate. It was just a question of how much was available for essentially extra work at straight time. Just want to make sure we get that in minutes. All right. All right, now we'll go to seating. We went back and talked about the Judy's, oh, okay, just made notes in the minutes that we had reviewed it and so there's no action requested. But we increased the appropriation, but yeah. It was didn't require a rate change and it was just for straight time as authorized by. But it'll be in the minutes. All right. There wasn't any action required. I just want to make sure it was in. It doesn't change the salary ordinance, it doesn't change insurance or anything. All right. All right, so on to commissioners, tuck point, so we go through this list. Is the server in the technology line item, technology update line item? So there was action required for the purchase of a courthouse server at 48,000. Seated.
Location 0068.
Right now, actually. Yeah.
And then
Did you want to go back? It's 94,000 of that, but a portion of that is allow payment. 48,000 of that 94 is server, right, Christine?
Yes. I believe so, because it was 40 something, 48,000.
The 46,000 is allow payment.
44.8.
Yeah.
The server was 48.3.
Actual server, right, not the. You done it?
Yeah, we had talked
let me
about
check, make sure I
what
got
level
the right one, hang on.
Oh, I remember the other was like 70 something. They have the redundant. We took 31,000. Yeah.
Yeah, the courthouse server is 48.3. The redundant one was 37 on top of that, so it would have been 70 something together. Then the WOW payment's 44.8. Or the X off, sorry. Yeah. 44.8, yeah. I didn't never check the math. And with me.
For the serve.
Yeah.
We go about 60,000 a year. That's fine to hear quicker. Last year we got 70. Is that front? 7303. Three oh three. Well, if we didn't advertise. I haven't said it for you. But still. Talking about pulling the server out.
Oh, we go. Nothing says you can. That we gotta read.
Well, we can leave it in, and then we can decide later if we want to. Do it.
Did you see that?
Because of the big highway pull out seated, we were just trying to think if there was somewhere else to take the. To take the server out. $50,000 item essentially, so
I mean, we don't.
I'm definitely in favor of doing it, it's just.
Yeah, there's not the money in the general fund, right? We already. said
Well,
that.
not that additional, and then, but we also, but there's some other. Things that.
By
kind of-
additional appropriation.
Yeah. Whatever, wherever it would go would
I
require.
mean, the professional services to that 25,000 that we put in there for the tile. I'm not sure if the council has been told yet, but I know the commissioners ended up. Kind of backtracking a little bit, instead of doing the bathrooms and the tile work as two separate. Things, one in this year, one in next year, they kind of went back and proposed an RFP. To have the whole courthouse and the site evaluated, and do it as one big project, so they would look at like. The tiling, the sidewalks, the bathrooms, the
Plaster.
plumbing, the plaster, kind of have a. Architectural engineering firm come in. Evaluate the whole thing, kind of break it down by pricing, and then they could see which ones they wanted to do. Going forward and do it as one project instead of all these little different ones from year to year, so.
And to
So
make sure
that's
we
kind
do-
of up in the
and to
air.
make sure we do them in the right order,
And yes,
because you don't wanna. We don't wanna fix the plaster and not fix the drainage, because then
Right.
we're gonna,
yeah,
Fix the last one.
then we're gonna fix the plaster.
so that is kind of up in the air, till we hear back from those firms. Get that all done, so.
And that someplace we wanna use the. other. I need a motion to keep the tech update at 94,000, which includes 48,300 for a new courthouse server.
I'll make a motion.
Eric moves, is there a second? Here. Moved and seconded, all in favor of the tech update line item? Right. 7-0.
Eric, second.
I second.
Eric.
Eric seconded, I think I said Eric. Eric made the motion.
Okay.
All right. All right, are there any other? Okay. Then, the next item would be along those same lines that she just spoke about. That we had in there was the contractual services or requesting the 25,000. And that could change based off what the RFP.
It
comes
could
out.
change, and I'll be honest, that 4,000 for Baker Tilly, I just told Mark, I just got the invoice from them last week. And it's over 4 again, it's been over 4 the last couple of years, and then every time I ask them, they're like, well, the state changed this, or this had to change, and so we had to do this extra work. It's all legitimate. It's just, we won't have that next year. And so then I just budget 4,000, but then the next year something else changes. And so more than likely that is not gonna be 4,000 again next year. It's probably gonna be 5 or 5,500, but I just paid it out of the commissioner's budget this year, the difference, so it doesn't really. All kinds come out of the wash. But yeah, I don't know about 25 will be enough with the 25 we have this year, or if it's not, I have no idea really on that, like for engineering services.
But for right now, we need to. I guess I want a motion to approve that line item at 29,000 for professional services. We didn't really do that anywhere else. I don't think we have to have that because it stands in the budget as from the workshop. And it's not capital, it's not equipment, it's professional services. I don't think we need a motion for that. But it's in there, but obviously council can always move for anything to make changes, but by our rules, that doesn't, I had it in there as action required. I don't think it's action required at this point. Well, it stayed the same. I think they had. What was the 6,000 contracted at the bottom?
It's revolving loan fund.
That's the RLF, okay. I think maybe she asked for more, but that's what the
Who?
commissioners. Yeah. But.
For what line?
Tourism.
Yes, they did ask for more. That's the commissioners. I think she asked for 15 and the commissioners did 12. If I recall correctly, I could be wrong, but
I've got plus 6,000 question mark handwritten
okay.
below the 12,000.
But she said that would allow her to give us the support of a university.
Yes, so and I do believe she asked for more. I don't remember the exact, I was thinking it was 15, but I could be wrong. But they did come in, I'm higher than what the commissioners put in there.
She said 6,000 would do it.
Okay. It wasn't full.
Yeah, but the two pieces.
Yeah, because they had that plan from the.
All state
All state.
assembly.
Judy, as this moves forward into next year, I mean, at some point, can you remove these items like the tuck pointing and the window
Yeah.
replacement? Can those will come out in next year?
We can, and then we can even reassign the line
Remember?
after we get it cleared. But we have to, history is so hard to keep on these things. It's like, where do you want?
Is there any other action on this section from the commissioner's budget and seated? We're down seated in courthouse. Yes. He had a,
Gotta know about the cop payment.
You guys are done with me though, right, on that part? Everything else is.
Yeah, I think so.
EMS.
yeah, just,
Okay,
we have in. The cop payment's its own placeholder. It's underneath this section. It's underneath courthouse maintenance and repair. It's the next one.
Highway things,
Highways in here.
531 highway.
I think I left it off of this list, but it's on here, it's on here. What's in it? So we have here the big ticket item, of course, with the, obligation on County Road 300 for construction. And then we have, also, we need to actually take action on the equipment request, which was the 97,000. That we've got a dump truck and a 1-ton dump that are shown in the H. Also, we had, we were gonna buy the 1-ton out of seated. So, with that being an equipment purchase, that needs to be authorized here. The original request, we had them both in both, and this was originally it started at 319,000. Now it's at 97,000. So the 97 was for the 1-ton, yes. That's right, Josh, and
What's that?
we were gonna do the 1-ton out of seated,
Yes, correct.
and the bigger piece was gonna come out of MVH.
Right.
I need a motion on the approval for
Motion.
Eric moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Jeff seconds. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The, these bridge and road projects, we're under obligation with grant agreements, so there's really no discussion on those at this point. Obviously, that's a big ticket item, and we did have some discussion, of course, with Greg Gertaz about whether it made sense for, debt service on that. And while it might make sense, there was not a financial advantage to doing so other than preserving our fund balance, which is healthy. So we did have discussion with the changes pending in the taxation, if it made sense to do it from a standpoint of preserving, a tax draw from personal property. And of course, that wouldn't be a seat. You'd have to do general obligation, you'd have some general fund obligation on that debt. But it just did not, we felt it didn't make sense to do that, and we would have been required to post that debt with the budget. Doesn't mean we can't still do it, as we get closer to spending that, but it just won't be advertised to be a debt outside of our tax levy for 2026. Did you get some notes on that to put in the minutes? All right. Anything else on location 531, which was the highway portion of seated? That total is 338,323. That looks unchanged. All right, public safety EMS, we had this in 2 locations. We had this in the, in seated, and then we also had it, I believe, in CCD, right?
I'm not saving this.
Yeah, that's right. It's location, 0531, or location 11-7. Yeah, yeah.
Only 112.
112-0531. $109,389.
Really want to do it, that's.
And then, it's kind of rebuilding year for CCD. We've got 59.5 in there. And the only big purchase we would have out of CCD.
Can I say something?
Yes,
Looking at the 1138, the location is gonna be 301. Not 11.
correct. Sorry. I said that. But 1138, we don't have, last year we had all the computers in there. The only proposed expense this year in CCD is the cots, which I think would more than cover. The estimated year-end cash on hand plus revenue will take CCD up to 363, and we're looking to spend 109. So I would think we take it out of seated, especially with the big highway obligations in seated. And reserve seated balance and spend it out as QCAP.
Need a motion,
I do need a motion.
I'll give you a motion.
I'll say. Okay, so motion's been made to do the COT payment for 2026 out of CCD. And remove from the seated balance. And Chris could care less. As far as what you don't care which one. Not that we care that you care.
Fix it, we've got to go back to 1112. There where it says 1170, I think that's even.
Yep.
We have, like, did you do the second and, just want to read the change?
Okay, so the motion was made by Max. Who did seconded? Greg seconded. Did we? I probably didn't take the vote. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. 3,679,986. I agree.
3 million.
679,986 dollars. Proceeded, okay, so then that's the total for, we never saw Cornerstone, did this Cornerstone?
No, we didn't. That was the first one.
I guess I skipped over it.
Well, it was
Okay,
very first.
No, I was thought I had a note on it though. I think my note was simply that we had increased it because the Cornerstone Perpetuation Fund needed to breathe a little bit, I think was the comment I had. Okay. No action required because we did that by consensus. Yeah. Sorry, I blew past that, guys. I didn't just, we were going through the list. All right. We're at 11:40. Do we wanna, and we're done with seated. Do we wanna take a break? I think we're making pretty good progress.
Say 11:19, yes,
What's that?
the next fund's 11:19. Lana was here.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm talking about taking lunch.
I need to eat.
A lot of these smaller funds will go by real quick when we get back, but we do have to have the overall cost of living discussion. And, you know, I think we're in pretty good shape, but.
I think so, right?
So my question, do we, do you want to come back at
No, my day yesterday.
1 or before 1 or? That's an hour 20, that's a long time. Want to be back at 10 till?
10 to 1.
10 to 1.
2.
Oh. We'll recess and reconvene at 12:50.
Yeah.
We at 11. Yeah, it needs to be stopped.
I'm hoping for like $4,000 or $5,000.